Life will always be our greatest teacher. And I'm so grateful right now that I chose to drop out of college when I did, because that version of me, it took a lot of guts. It took a lot of knowing faith that me dropping out of school, it was going to work out. It was going to make sense for something. And I can honestly say, sitting right here right now, even though my reality isn't fully bloomed into what I truly want, I am living in blessings right now. And if I would have stayed in college, I don't think I would be right here right now. So, peace and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Samaya, and I am a multi-dimensional psychic using my real life experiences to help goddesses slow down and remember their fucking power. And today's kind of download story time a little bit is about me dropping out of college and choosing Earth School instead of being indoctrinated within the matrix. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against anybody who chose to finish school and get a degree. I think that's very, beautiful that you chose to do that. Congrats. However, that was not for me, and I'm grateful that I was able to try it out and to experience college, especially at a hbcu. Clark Atlanta University is the school I attended, and I did have a overall beautiful experience, eye-opening experience. And it's so funny because a lot of the king memories, my favorite parts about being in college, has kind of been playing out in my journey right now. Shit I picked up, so. But I chose to leave college because, first of all, if you're someone like me growing up in the hood, went to the inner city school, but you were a good student, got good grades, had parents that, nigga, I don't know what the fuck you think you gonna do, but my parents, especially my dad, was like, you're not staying here. And that was kind of embedded in me from a young age, be your own boss, and I don't care what you do, but you're not staying here once you graduate high school. And my options was either to go to my grandmother or to go to college. It's so funny that I didn't choose my grandmother when I had the option, because I really did not want to go to college, just for the simple fact of student loans. But my parents kept telling me student loans are normal, everybody has to pay them back eventually unless you have scholarships and shit like that. So I chose to go to college, and I'm grateful I did, because again, I had a great experience. But I started to have a spiritual awakening, and within that spiritual awakening, I just started to see how people going to college is not really the whole point of that shit being created was to create workers. And again, I've had my own business since I was 12. I've been able to always make my own money since a young age. So me going through my spiritual awakening and seeing that, and just seeing I'm not no yes man. I've never been kind to people telling me what to do. As to why, like, growing up, I always had a new job probably like every 6 to 12 months, because it would get to a point where, someone of authority would, try me. And at that moment, I didn't know how to control my emotions. So, like, if you were doing something that I didn't like, I would just spaz on your ass. So, um, that's just how shit went. But as I'm just going through my spiritual awakening and I'm just seeing shit for what it is, like, y'all just creating workers. I was also noticing, like, people, like, that I was going to school with, like, and don't get me wrong, because I love fashion. That's actually what I was studying, because I can sew. And I had a clothing brand at the time called Optimistic. And like, it was a fashion show on the campus, and I loved that. But what I didn't love was knowing that a lot of these students, including myself at one point, was walking around in designer clothes and designer bags and looking good, but you broke as fuck. You're broke as fuck. And that didn't like make sense to me. Like, why do we think it's okay to be physically fly, but financially you broke, emotionally you broke, physically you broke? You just look good on the outside trying to impress other motherfuckers who is not thinking about you more than you think about yourself. So that was bothering me. And then I recognized too, like, with my gift of sewing, I'm like, okay, yeah, I do want to be a fashion designer, but like, I can teach myself this shit. Like, I don't really have to go to school and get a degree in order to be successful within the fashion industry, because we all know a lot of people with fashion degrees that don't use them. So I kind of started pivoting to the business finance of things, in which I enjoyed that. But then once I got to that point, I was just like over that shit. So I dropped out, stayed in Atlanta, and I decided to move forward on my spiritual journey. And ever since then, that was like 2022, between 2022 and 2023. Ever since then, like, I've completely been being stripped of an old identity, because then I recognized that the only reason I was going to school was to impress my parents and to please my parents. And going into the business field and going into the fashion fields, because all my life, although I've always had the gift, that's not my only gift. But people will see your gift and think, because that's what you're supposed to do for a living. And I was running with that, but it's like every time I would start a business, every time I would do something with fashion, like, I would just get burnt out. I was just tired. I was tired of making clothes for other people and barely making shit for myself. Like, this is my gift. Why the fuck am I using my shit to just empower y'all, when first and foremost I need to be empowered? So I stepped away. The year after stepping away from college, I was able to make money through doing alterations by, like, just posting on TikTok and Instagram and people close to me. I even got deeper into my lifestyle as a veganism. I started spending a lot more time in nature. I had a boyfriend at the time who also, I know, contractually we chose each other to awaken each other even more. But I just think, like, if you're somebody who went to college and chose to drop out and felt bad about it, because even when I was supposed to graduate in like 2023, I think it was, or 2024. I don't know. But, when I was supposed to graduate, these, like, within the last 1 or 2 years, I kind of felt like shitty a little bit, because I'm like, damn, like, what would have happened if I, just would have stayed and da 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 da. But it's just like, I've grown so fucking much, like, because this shit is so much deeper than the surface. It's so much more than money. It's so much more than what meets the eye, this life shit, And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm just so fucking grateful. I'm grateful for the experience, but I'm even more grateful that I chose to enroll in Earth School, because Earth School has been my greatest teacher. Following my intuition, tapping in back into source, returning back to the simple things like yoga, meditation, creation, eating what's good for me, changing how I speak to myself, changing how I look at the world, changing everything one day at a time, one step at a time. And if I could tell you anything, I would say do what's best for you, because no matter which way you go, when you're always moving with intention and pure intentions, you will always be redirected back to where you're supposed to be, no matter what decision you make, So I'm gonna leave you guys off with that. If this video found you today, let me know in the comments, what your experience has been like, if you chose to leave college and really just focus on living in real life and creating your own system outside of the matrix that the majority of the people are still stuck in. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, because that helps me, and I would love to continue to share with y'all as I go. So again, I love you, and I will be back next week with another video. Okay? Peace and love.